Good day. Welcome to Kingwilliam Everything. Back in the 80s, you had a Commodore 64 and a 1541 drive and a 1702 monitor. You were dope, baby. You were dope. And if you did not have the tape drive and were lucky enough to afford the 1541 drive, which is quite expensive, about the same prices as the Commodore 64, you could game all you ever wanted. Didn't have to wait around. Because if you ever played the tape drives on these things, you find the part where it starts the program, hit play, load it in, and wait. And wait. But the 1541 drive, although not super fast, if you had a fast little cartridge, was a lot faster. Much better and much easier to store games and that kind of thing. That's pretty much the preferred way to do this. And you can see here we have kind of like a second iteration of it. This is the 1541. First one had like the little spring-loaded little clasp in here. This one just had a little lever. All the same. But as you can kind of see, this sucker is big and it was expensive. So it was about the same price as the Commodore 64, and you wanted to protect your equipment. And if after a couple hours of playing, you put your hand over these fins, you would feel the heat off this baby, especially if you weren't lucky enough to have air conditioning back in the 80s. This sucker got hot. So solutions were made. A lot of people put little muffin fans on here. Or, I do recall seeing these in like some computer shop or something like that. Things like this. Kind of get the idea. And it looks like somebody did some mods on this bad boy. And of course, there's absolutely no UL listing, any kind of stickers anywhere on here. So I'm kind of thinking this was just something that was sold, you know. But you can see the mod they did the nylon stocking mod. If you crack this open, you can kind of see, well, actually it's kind of nice. So I don't know if you really need, I guess maybe this was just kind of silence it a little bit. I'm not sure. But it had a little screen so you didn't drop stuff into there. And a nice little muffin fan. And this does not feel like, I don't feel any clicks in it, so I'm going to assume this is just a 110 power supply, or 110 going straight into this fan, because if you had the little stepper motor, you'd kind of feel it clicking. And so that kind of makes sense. It's probably just wired straight into it. And usually with these AC motors, or AC fans, these things last forever. And I'm sure you didn't have any, you know, you didn't run this all the time, but I do not see anywhere on this cord here an on-off button. So if you wanted to shut the fan off, you would just unplug it, I guess, or you put this all in a power strip and turn the power strip off, which would kind of make sense. But I figured we'd crack this open and see what's in it. You know, actually, you can probably see right here. Let's see. ETRI. Let's see. It is a 115 volt. So yes, it is a 120 volt fan. Just kind of mounted in here. It's quite heavy duty, nice metal, but basically what you did, you plopped it on here, turned it on, air sucked through. So I'm not sure it was good or bad. Probably good for heat, bad for, you know, sucking in dirt particles and things like that. But if you turn this on, you'll see it doesn't run very fast. So it's probably just enough to keep the heat out of it the best it could. Let's crack it open. Let me grab a screwdriver because I'm kind of curious if there's any kind of electronics. I'm going to guess just wired straight onto the fan. So let me go get a screwdriver and let's open it up. I got a bunch of screwdrivers here. It looks like they're pretty fine screws. I guess this was a pretty good idea. Especially, you got to remember, these things were expensive. You want your stuff not to fail. And I don't recall too many hard drives or disk drives failing. I mean, I do remember sometimes you had to get them realigned, things like that. But you definitely don't want your power supply dying. And you know, the weird thing, I don't ever remember anybody kind of putting any cooling fans on their Commodore 64, because I only ran at like 1 megahertz. And there's like 0.97 megahertz, something like that. So you really probably didn't have to worry too much about the Commodore 64 overheating. Oh yeah, so there it is. Just 2 wires coming in, and that's it. And a little muffin fan. Let's turn the muffin fan on. All right, got Mr. Power. Let's plug him in. And he's got a little screen here so it doesn't get something from the bottom. And of course from the top it had the little, it's like a tea strainer. Kind of neat. Not too loud. That'd be acceptable. Probably a little quieter with the case on top of it. But kind of a neat little solution to keep your 1541 cool. It'd be neat if they put like a little toggle switch on here. Maybe I'll do a little toggle switch. Do a mod on this baby so we can turn it off and on. Keep our rig cool. So anyway, that was what I want to show you today. Kind of a neat piece of history. A neat little solution for a problem. Because I don't recall Commodore ever putting any kind of fans. I know the 1541-2, which I just got, has an external power supply. And a lot of the other, like the blue chip drives, they all had external power supplies. This was, I think, the only one that I have seen that had an internal, kind of like the Commodore versions. So a pretty neat little solution. And when I first saw this, I'm thinking, what is this thing? Because I thought there's no ports or anything to plug it into anything. It's just got a power lead. So that is the 1541 drive cooler. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's you guys. Have a great day.